Now we're going to look at how you figure out if two fractions are equivalent to each other. So in other words, if they're equal to each other. So I'm going to show you three ways that you can figure out if your fractions are equivalent. The first way is you're going to just simplify both fractions. And when you simplify both fractions, if you get the same fraction, then that means these two fractions are equivalent. So let's start by looking at 60 divided by 210. I'm going to try to simplify it. Now maybe you don't have space for a factor tree, or maybe you don't want to write out an entire factor tree. So let me show you kind of an alternative. I could call 60 6 times 10, and I could call 210 21 times 10. And I'm just doing this because I noticed that they both end in 0, right? So if they both end in 0, 10 divided by 10 is 1. So now what we're looking at is 6 divided by 21. I think we could keep simplifying though. 6 is 3 times 2, and 21 is 3 times 7. So right there I have 2 3's. Those will cancel, and we're going to end up getting 2/7 as our simplified version of 60 divided by 210. That simplifies down to 2/7. Now let's look at 12 over 42. Let's see if it simplifies to be the same thing. So 12 over 42, let's see. They're both even, right? So we could do 2 times 6, and we could do 2 times, would that be 21? And we've got 2 over 2, that's 1. And we end up getting 6 over 21. That looks familiar. This is 3 times 2 and 3 times 7. Things are looking good. Turns out that we get 2/7. Now that's not the only way you could simplify this. You could end up canceling a 3 first. I mean, the order doesn't matter. What matters is the ending. And we get 2/7 for both of them. And so what that tells us is 60 over 210 is equivalent to 12 over 42. And it's because 2/7 is equal to 2/7, right? They simplified to be the same thing. So that's one way you can tell, is just simplify both fractions. And that'll tell you if they're equivalent. The other way you can do it is rewrite both fractions to fractions with the same denominator, or as fractions with the same denominator, and then you compare numerators. So this is like the reverse of simplifying. We're going to blow up the numbers, make them bigger, and see if we can get them to look the same with a bigger denominator. So I've got 7/10 and 5/8. So I need to pick some sort of a common denominator. Go big or go home. I think the easiest way to come up with the denominator, literally just multiply the two denominators together. So we're going to use 80 as the common denominator. Common denominator. My pen is starting to run out. All right, so if I want to make that have a denominator of 80, 7/10, you have to think about, well, what would you multiply by? Well, you just multiply by the other guy, multiply by 8. And that fundamental law of fractions says you can multiply top and bottom by the same number and retain the ratio in this fraction. So 7 times 8 would be 56, and 10 times 8 would be 80. So if I kind of blow up this fraction to where it has 80 as a denominator, I get 56 over 80. Let's see what we get here for 5/8. For 5/8, if I want to make the denominator 80, I'd have to multiply by 10. And that's going to give me 50 over 80. That's what 5/8 is. So if you blow them up so they have the same denominator, is 56 over 80 the same thing as 50 over 80? No, it is not. So those would not be equivalent fractions. So you can either simplify, or you can unsimplify, right? Blow up the fraction, so rewrite them so that they have the same denominator. Or the last way you can do this is you can actually cross multiply. So I don't know if you realize that this is a trick. A over B will be equal or equivalent to C over D if and only if A times D, which is this diagonal, is equivalent to the other diagonal, B times C. So this is kind of a sneaky way you can do things. You just set them up, pretend like they're equal and see if the diagonals match. So if we do 3/8, we're trying to find out, is it equivalent to 9/24? Well, let's just see. If we multiply here, 3 times 24, 3 times 24 is 72. Is that equal to the other diagonal? The other diagonal is 9 times 8, or 8 times 9, which is 72. So are those equivalent fractions? Yes, they are, because the diagonals give you the same product. So that's another quick way you can tell if two fractions are equivalent.